One of those things is the order of operations. So the order of operations is interesting because if I give this problem to 5 people and if they just do the math any old way, they don't have an order in which they do their calculation, I'll get 5 different answers. So the order of operations is, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, which is we do parentheses first, then exponents, then multiplication, then division, then addition, then subtraction. Now, addition and subtraction, just like multiplication and division, those go left to right. In other words, you can do division before multiplication. You're just going to go left to right. And it's the same with adding and subtracting. So this is a fraction, and a fraction is the same as a division problem. So there's a couple of things I'm going to do. First of all, I got to do the work inside the parentheses, and some textbooks will say grouping, right? So these are absolute value brackets. So that's a grouping, and these are parentheses. So that's a grouping. The problem is that I've also got to follow the order of operations inside the parentheses. So when I go to do this portion, I've got to do the exponents first before I subtract. So if I were to write all this out, I'm going to say the square root of 16 plus. Now to simplify this stuff on the inside, I've got to say 3 squared, which is 9. So then I have 10 minus 9. 10 minus 9 is just 1. Then on the bottom, I've got 5 minus 25. So I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 20. Well, I know that the square root of 16 is 4 or negative 4, but we're just going to focus on the principal root on this. So the next line would be 4 plus 1. And then the absolute value of negative 20 is actually a positive 20. And then I'm going to add 4 plus 1, and that would give me 5 over 20. Now, the last thing I need to do is simplify this. I notice that 5 and 20 are divisible by 5, so I'm going to divide the top by 5. And with fractions, whatever you do on the top of the fraction, you also have to do to the bottom. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 20 divided by 5 is 4. Now, the only way I can get that is I had to follow this order of operations. I kind of glossed over it, but if you notice, I did the parentheses inside the parentheses. But within the parentheses, I had to do the exponents. And then once I took care of the exponents, because there was no multiplying or dividing inside here, then I had to do adding and subtracting. And I followed that process to get 1. This numerator is kind of like a set of parentheses because it's a completely different grouping on the top of the fraction than it is on the bottom. Also, the bottom, I have these absolute value brackets, which is like a grouping, so I'm going to do the work inside the parentheses first, or inside the absolute value brackets. Then in the next line, I'm going to take the square root of this, which gives me 4. I'm going to take the absolute value of negative 20, that gives me 20. So then I take another step and I'm going to add this up. You'd be amazed at how many different answers you would get to this problem. But if everybody followed the order of operations, they get this exact same answer, 1 over 4.